There once was a clan. They were called Kurogane. 800 people strong. 400 years of history. You have never heard of them. No one has. Not anymore.
I burned every record. I erased every grave. I removed my clan from the memory of the world.
Because the alternative was letting the 5 Kage find them. The 5 Kages had voted unanimously to exterminate the Kurogane. Their bloodline could unmake any jutsu. That power was deemed too dangerous, so the clan's young archivist, 19 years old, was given a choice.
I could have done nothing and watched them all die.
Instead, he used the bloodline itself to erase every record, every grave, every memory from every living mind. When the last ember died, the Kurogan were gone from the world. Only the archivist remembered. But before the ash settled, the archivist had stood in the heart of the compound, weaving a jutsu no one should ever use. One by one, the clansmen stopped mid-stride, their eyes emptying as if something vital had been ripped away. Some reached for weapons that were no longer there, confused why their hands had moved.
I saw my mother's face go blank, my father's, and then, Ami.
The 9-year-old girl looked up at him, not recognizing her own brother, and asked where her family was.
I never spoke another word to her. I just let her forget.
He completed the technique, leaving 800 ghosts with no memory of being ghosts. Hiroki left the empty grounds, carrying only a vow to watch over them all from the shadows forever. A decade passed. The archivist became a shadow from the cliff. He watched the farmers and merchants who had once been his clan, never able to walk among them. Every day, Hiroki moved through the village unseen, a ghost among the living. He passed a merchant who had once been his uncle, now hawking vegetables with no memory of the clan.
He used to forge the finest blades. Now his greatest pride is a ripe tomato.
A little further, a woman mended clothes. His mother's hands, his mother's face, but the eyes held no spark of her son.
Not a single one remembers. I made sure of that.
Then he saw her. Ami, no longer a child but a young woman, laughing with friends at the well.
She has our mother's smile, but if I spoke her name, she'd look at me like a stranger.
When the sun set, Hiroki retreated to his cabin at the edge of the forest, far from the village lights. In the candlelight, he pulled out a faded photograph of a little girl, the only proof he had ever been a brother.
As long as I breathe, no Kage will touch you, even if you never know my name.
Far from the village, in the heart of the 5 Kage Council, Elder Kyo sat motionless, his mind sifting through the currents of history.
There is a void where the Kurogane should be. Someone has tampered with the fabric of memory. Send a hunter to investigate. If even a single shred remains, bring it to me.
Days later, a masked operative named Shin arrived in the village, moving door to door with quiet, cutting questions. He asked about old ruins, strange visitors, anything that did not fit.
Have you ever felt like something is missing? A memory you can't quite reach?
Sometimes, when I wake from a dream, there's a face I almost know, but it slips away before I can hold it.
From the shadows of a nearby alley, Hiroki watched, frozen. The hunter was here. The Kages were searching.
They sense the hole. After 10 years, they still won't let go.
Shin finished his questioning and departed. But his report carried an unsettling weight, a residual energy, faint but undeniable. Hiroki knew he could not let the hunter leave with what he had sensed. Silently, he followed Shin into the forest.
I have to erase his suspicion. Just a small correction. He'll forget the village entirely.
He reached out with his bloodline, pulling at the threads of Shin's recent memory like a weaver unspooling a tapestry. Shin stumbled, clutching his head. The questions, the girl's face, they were dissolving, but something fought back.
Who's there? Show yourself. I felt a jutsu. You won't escape.
Hiroki had no choice. He stepped from the shadows just long enough to release a memory fog, then vanished back into the dark.
He saw my face. Not clearly, but enough. The cages will know someone guards the void.
Shin returned to the capital, shaken but alive. He knelt before Elder Kyo, his report now etched with urgency.
An erasure user? Someone still holds the Kurogane secret. Find him. I want every stone turned over. Now.
That night, in a small farmhouse, Emmy dreamed of fire and ash and a boy with violet eyes, burning a scroll as the world forgot. Amy jolted awake, the burning compound seared into her mind. She fumbled for paper and charcoal, desperate to capture it.
I see his face more clearly now. Who are you, boy with the violet eyes?
She showed the sketch around the village, but no one recognized the ruins or the face.
This isn't just a dream. It's a memory, but of what? I have to know.
She questioned the elders about forgotten settlements, and a name surfaced. The Kurogane compound, a place history says never existed. From the shadows, Hiroki watched every move she made.
She's feeling the void. The seal is fracturing. If I don't erase her again, the Kages will find her. But I can't. Not again. Not my little sister.
The pull grew stronger, guiding Ami toward the old lands without her knowing why. And Hiroki followed, the weight of his choice crushing him with every step. Ami reached the empty field where the compound once stood. A grief she could not name seized her heart.
Why does this place feel like a grave? I've never been here, but my body knows.
She fell to her knees, clutching the dirt, tears falling without reason. Hiroki watched from the shadows, each of her sobs a blade in his own chest.
I remember the last time she cried for me. She was 9. I wiped that away too.
He could not raise his hand again. The jutsu wouldn't come. He wouldn't let it.
Let the Kages come. I'll protect her with my life, not by erasing hers.
A faint violet glow surrounded her, the bloodline responding to her sorrow. Hiroki saw the light and smiled, accepting the risk. The old path was no choice at all. He stayed in the shadows, her silent guardian, as the sun set on the empty field. Elder Kyo sat alone in the council chamber, the silence gnawing at his pride. Shin had failed. He would not. He closed his eyes and wove a projection jutsu, sending a phantom of himself to the Kurogane field. In the empty grass, the ghost of Kyo knelt and touched the soil. Faint violet traces clung to his fingers. He tasted the memory of a forbidden art, and beneath it, the stirrings of an awakened bloodline. Back in his body, Kyo's fury burst free. He slammed his fist into the stone table, shattering it. Ami woke gasping, a name scalding her lips. Iroki. The word was a key. She scrambled for her charcoal and wrote it beneath the drawing of the boy. Hiroki. She hurried to the village, holding the sketch aloft. Do you know this name? This face? But no one did. She packed a small bag and left before dawn, following a pull she could not explain. From the cliff, Hiroki saw her leave, and he knew the hunt had truly begun. Ami walked for days, the forest closing around her. Every fork in the path felt like a memory, not a choice.
This symbol keeps appearing, the ring of stones, the 7 gates. I've dreamt of this place.
She's not wandering. She's following a line straight to my door.
He cast a subtle misdirection, a shimmering path through the ferns, promising a village. But she paused and turned away.
The seal is too weak. She feels the truth under every lie. If I stop her now, I'll break her. If I don't, the Kages will follow. Either way, I lose.
Then he straightened. 10 years of shadows, and the only light was walking straight toward him. He returned to the cabin and waited, the candle burning down, the photograph of Ami on the table, through the trees. Ami saw a faint flicker. Not a will-o'-the-wisp, but a window. She stepped into the clearing, heart pounding, and raised her hand to knock. The door opened. Hiroki stood frozen, his sister's face lit by candlelight, a decade of silence broken.
I know you. From my dreams. You are the boy with the violet eyes. Hiroki.
She said my name. After 10 years, she said my name.
He stepped aside. She walked past him into the dim room, the sketch of her own face on the table.
Is this me? Who are we? Why can't I remember anything before the farm?
You are my sister. I took your memories. I erased our entire clan.
He placed his hand on her forehead, and the memory-sharing technique flooded her mind with fire and ash, with love and loss.
The compound. Our mother. The scroll burning. You did this to save us. Don't erase me again. I'd rather die knowing than live only half alive.
She fell into his arms, and for the first time in 10 years, Hiroki held his little sister and wept. Hiroki pulled back, gripping her shoulders. He told her the cages would sense her awakening. They had to run or fight.
Then we fight. I won't let you bear this alone anymore.
She's fiercer than I remembered, but she has no control. I have to teach her, quickly.
Far away, in the council chamber, Kyo felt the surge, a blooming bloodline. He smiled a cold smile.
Shin, take a full squad. Bring them both. The girl is the key.
The hunter bowed and vanished, a dozen masked operatives slipping into the night. In a moonlit clearing, Hiroki guided Ami's hands, teaching her to shape the erasure energy rather than unleash it blindly.
It's like remembering a language I've spoken my whole life but never heard.
They paused, and Ami leaned against him. The childhood they'd lost flickering between them.
They're close. A day, maybe less. I'll protect her with my last breath.
Night fell, and the trees filled with masked shadows. The cabin was surrounded.
Stay inside, Ami, no matter what you hear.
He burst through the door, releasing a wave of violet mist. The first 3 guards' eyes went blank, their weapons clattering to the ground.
5 left. Shin will be in the back. If I can blind him, the rest will scatter.
But Shin was faster. A blade sliced Hiroki's side, and he crumpled to one knee, blood blooming through his cloak.
You are finished. Archivist, the girl comes with us.
Ami screamed. Without thought, she ran out, hands blazing. The violet light struck Shin full in the face, and his eyes emptied.
What? Where?
From the darkness, a voice clapped slowly. Kyo's projection stepped forth, eyes gleaming.
She has it. The true erasure. The girl comes with me, or the boy dies here.
Hiroki drove his fist into the ground. A thick, impenetrable fog of violet erupted, swallowing the clearing.
Run, Ami. West. Follow the symbol. You are the only hope now.
I can't leave you. Not after everything.
If you stay, they take you too. Then everyone we save dies. Go!
Kyo's projection pushed through the fog, unblinking. The other guards wandered blindly, memories scattering. With a final, shattered look, Ami turned and plunged into the dark forest, the fog closing behind her like a veil. The mist faded. Hiroki lay spent, his blood soaking the earth. Kyo's foot pressed him down. Real soldiers emerged from the trees, snapping chakra chains around Hiroki's wrists. He did not resist.
She'll be found. Her bloodline will lead us to every last Kurogane. Your sacrifice bought only minutes.
Those minutes are all she needs. My sister will surprise you.
She stumbled through the dark. The word West, a lifeline. Tears blurred every tree into a shadow of her brother. At dawn, a small village appeared. An old woman drew water from a well, and something in Ami's heart seized.
I know her. The memories he gave me. She is our grandmother.
Ami grasped the woman's wrinkled hand. A pulse of violet light ran between them. The woman's eyes, once blank, flooded with decades of stolen life. She looked at Ami and saw her granddaughter. She pulled Ami into a fierce embrace, weeping a name she hadn't spoken in 10 years.
I can undo it. I can give back what Hiroki took. I can wake our entire clan.
She told the old woman of Hiroki's capture, of the execution to come. Without hesitation, the woman took her hand.
Find every Kurogane. Give them back their past. Then nothing will stop us from saving him.
Together, they vanished into the morning mist, 2 women carrying 800 ghosts. In every village, Ami touched a hand, a shoulder. Violet light sparked, and eyes that had been empty beamed with recognition. A blacksmith remembered his forge. A seamstress remembered her mother. One by one, the ghosts found their names.
You are Kurogane. The Kages took your past, but I return it. Help me save the one who protected you for 10 years.
In the capital, criers posted a decree. The archivist would be executed in 3 days at the storm gate. Kyo watched from his balcony, a cold smile on his lips. The trap was set. In his cell, Hiroki heard the crier's voice and closed his eyes. He whispered a prayer, not for himself. News reached Ami by firelight. 3 days to walk a 5-day journey.
Impossible. Unless we don't stop. Unless we fly.
The Kurogane rose. Farmers, smiths, mothers, shoulders back, eyes forward. They would not fail him. They ran through the night. The miles blurring, a river of violet light surging toward the city. The collective bloodline blazed like a comet in the night. Kyo felt its heat rattle the walls of his chamber. He thrust a tendril of his spirit toward the energy, but the bloodline burned it to cinders. He dispatched every reserve to the eastern pass, his voice cold thunder. Crush them before they reach the gate. At the mountain pass, the Kurogane ran headlong into a wall of waiting shadows. An ambush.
Fight back. Use the power I awakened in you.
The clash was brutal. Some fell, their newly reclaimed names turning to ash before they could be spoken.
I will not stop. Not one more name will be forgotten tonight.
In his cell, Hiroki gasped. The distant rhythm of 100 hearts beat in his own chest.
She's close. I feel the bloodline, Ami. You did it.
The storm gate rose before them, iron and shadow. Between it and the Kurogane, a legion of soldiers formed a wall. The morning of the execution arrived with a gray, indifferent sky. Hiroki was dragged in chains to the platform at the storm gate.
Behold the last memory of the Kurogan. His clan is ash, his bloodline a forgotten error. Any final words, Archivist?
Only that I loved them enough to erase myself from their lives. And now I pray one of them remembers.
The executioner raised his blade. The crowd held its breath, and the world narrowed to a single beat of silence. Then the silence shattered. A massive wave of violet energy exploded from the city's edge, rolling through streets and minds alike. Every guard on the platform forgot why they stood there. Their weapons clattered. Their eyes went empty. Hiroki wrenched his wrists apart. The chains, weakened by the energy, snapped like paper. Through the smoke, a tide of Kurogane flooded the square. Farmers, smiths, mothers, their eyes blazing violet. At the front, Ami.
Hiroki, I found them all. We're here.
Kyo shrieked commands from the edge of the chaos, but his soldiers were lost in the fog of forgotten duties. The rescue had begun.
Hiroki, I am here. I won't let go again.
Her arms. After 10 years, her arms around me.
You think this rabble can defy the 5 Kages? I will erase you myself.
But dozens of Kurogan stepped forward, their violet auras forming an unbreakable wall around the elder. Kyo's hand trembled. For the first time, fear flickered in his cold eyes.
The clan is not your secret to bury. We will write our own history from this day.
This is not victory. It's a delay. I will grind your names into dust.
High above the square, the Kurogane rune blazed into existence. A declaration no power could erase. Across the lands, those who had forgotten suddenly remembered. Clansmen wept, recalling their true names. The Kurogane stood in the light, no longer ghosts. The archivist's burden was finally shared. Outside the city, in a quiet field, the Kurogane gathered. They formed a circle of faces, still relearning joy.
I am the one who took your yesterdays. I don't ask for forgiveness, only that you understand why.
He told them of the Kage's vote, of the night he burned the scroll, of 10 years watching from the shadows.
He erased his own existence to save us. I am his living proof that love was always the reason.
An old woman, the grandmother, wept and embraced him. One by one, the clan followed, touching his hands, murmuring their true names. They spoke aloud the word Kurogane for the first time in a decade. It was not a whisper of ghosts, but a declaration.
From now on, we build in the light. No more erasing. The Kages will come, but we will be ready.
They placed stones for a new foundation before the sun fully set. Hiroki and Ami stood side by side, watching the clan work with a freedom they had never known. Above them, the Kurogane rune blazed, not a scar, but a star, a promise that history would remember. The new Kurogane settlement grew. Where there had been fear, there was laughter. The sound of hammers and chisels replaced the silence of hiding. Hiroki and Ami walked through the village together, no longer shadows but a brother and sister beloved by their people.
The dreams have stopped. There's no more searching. Only peace. I am whole, Hiroki.
I am grateful you found me. I'd still be on that cliff, watching from the dark.
Nearby, children traced the Kurogane rune in the dirt, learning the history they would carry forward.
Their legacy isn't the erasure. It's this. The laughter, the stories, the fire in their eyes.
They walked to the edge of the settlement and looked toward the distant peaks. The world was still dangerous.
The Kages are still out there, but we're not alone anymore. We'll face them together.
Above them, the rune glowed faintly in the twilight, a silent sentinel, a promise to all who had forgotten. And to those who still hunted, the Kurogan would not be erased again. From the same cliff where he once watched from the shadows, Hiroki now looked down at a village full of light.
I used to stand here and count the things I'd taken from them. Now I count the lives they're building.
Ami appeared beside him, her presence as natural as the wind. They stood together, no longer haunted by silence.
Do you ever miss the quiet? The waiting?
Not once. The silence was never peace. This, the laughter, the noise, this is what I erased myself for.
Below, a child ran laughing, chased by a father who had once forgotten his own name. In the heart of the settlement, the burnt scroll remnant had been placed in a shrine, not as a relic of shame, but as proof of survival. The Kurogan rune burned brighter than it had in centuries, fed by the bloodline that refused to die. He had once been the only keeper of 800 souls. Now, 1,000 voices sang the Kurogane name. He was no longer the only one who remembered, and that was the greatest erasure he had ever undone. Years passed, and the field where the compound had once burned was no longer empty. A single tree grew from the ash-soaked earth, its roots feeding on 800 years of memory. In the heart of the settlement, the burnt scroll fragment lay enshrined, a silent heartbeat of the clan. Children came to trace the rune, their small fingers following the lines, until the symbol lived in them. High above, the Kurogane rune blazed in the constellations, no longer a scar, but a star guiding them home. Hiroki and Ami, gray and weathered, watched from the cliff. Their vigil had become one of peace, not sorrow. He turned to his sister, and for a long moment, no words were needed between them.
We are remembered. That is enough.
The greatest erasure he had ever performed was not the one that stole memory, but the one that gave it back through love that refused to die, and the Kurogan would never be forgotten again.